Hello, viewers. You're watching English Service Amhara Media Corporation. This is Messenger program. In our today's Messenger program, we want to talk about cybersecurity, cyber attack, and its impact on the country's social, political, and economic affairs. For this, we have a guest from Addis Ababa, MATHILDA Giovanni, Cybersecurity Awareness Manager at Information Network Security Agency. Do stay with Amhara Media Corporation English Service until the end of this program. Thank you, Matilda, for joining Amhara Media Corporation via Zoom from Addis Ababa to give us a brief explanation about cybersecurity, cyber attack, and its impact on the country's social, political, and economic affairs. As we know, information technology encompasses a wide range of technologies and systems that are used to transmit, process data, especially for human beings. And also nowadays, the internet infrastructure is growing from time to time. Because of this, the people, private and government organizations are facing different kinds of problems in terms of cybersecurity. Therefore, we want to discuss on these issues briefly before I directly go to my interview session. First of all, let me give a chance for you to introduce yourself to my audience.
My name is Matilda, and I am currently working as a cyber awareness manager at IMSA. And on a separate case, I do take events on the side. So I like volunteering a lot. So that's what I'm currently doing.
To begin with our discussion, what do you mean by cybersecurity?
When we say cybersecurity, we're trying to refer to about like protecting our computer systems. It might be networks or also information and data from any type of digital attack. So when we talk about cybersecurity, the cyber part refers to, it could be the society that's using different systems or people on social media, people who are like using different networks, right? So it encompasses a lot of things, including humans, society, technology, and even infrastructure as itself. So we're trying to protect all of it. So if any attack occurs in one of these four sectors, we say a cyber attack has occurred. So if we say cybersecurity, we're trying to protect these systems, these networks, and this information from unauthorized access from any type of attacks and damage, or it might be theft.
Cybersecurity and cyber attack are broad terms, and many organizations and also international media is reporting about cyber attack. What do you mean by cyber attack?
By cyber attack, in very simple terms, we mean that there are people with very malicious intentions, right? So it could be to steal, it could be to modify any types of information, or even to tamper with it, right? So these people, if they try to break into our computers or our phones or our networks, this is what we call a cyber attack, right? So let's say somebody's trying to break into our system or try to steal some sort of information or try to break into our computers and destroy certain data. And when that happens, we call it cyber attack. So it's any malicious attempt performed in an attempt to destroy or tamper with any form of data.
Technology is growing from time to time. Many people are using different kinds of technologies right now. Everybody can have a chance to access the social media platform. Because of this, they don't know how to secure the information, the data that they have. Therefore, what can you say about the awareness of our people in terms of cybersecurity?
So I think when it comes to our country, and specifically even in general for people in the digital world, most people assume that they have a consensus that they will not be attacked. That's the most cases that we find, right? Like most people assume that when we talk about awareness, normally in terms of cybersecurity, the general population varies very widely depending on the factors such as education, access to the information that they have. It might be cultural attitudes towards technology, and a lot of things in general. But we see with an increase in awareness also in digital technologies, we see that not many people see the threat that is coming towards the security of different technologies. So most people's awareness is in the sense of they will not get attacked or they are not the target of any form of cyber attacks. But that in by itself is wrong, because anyone who owns any technological devices, it might be a phone or a laptop or even any social media accounts, or let's say an email, is a target of attack. So once people understand that, then they will know that they will get attacked. So in terms of awareness of cybersecurity in our country, most of the country's cybersecurity awareness is low. Like I said, in terms of awareness, in terms of digital technology, in terms of the years that they've been using technology. So you can all attribute it to those factors as well. And also, I think as we go forward, there's not, in the past few years, though we've worked so much on the awareness part of it, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, because the the people who are currently working in the cyber sector or in the cyber awareness sector is not that many. So to reach the population that we have in this country is very hard. And also people's awareness, it's the awareness of the people is barely just visible now, or like since recently are they understanding the fact that, okay, I can get attacked, there's such a thing called cyber or cybersecurity, or and such things like that. So the awareness of the people in terms of security seems to be lower than what you expect overall.
Cybersecurity attack is a kind of it's a national threat, especially for our country, when the information is taken from one organization using technologically advanced people like hackers. It may have impact on the country's developmental aspect. What kinds of activities the information network security is working so far in order to create awareness for our private, our government, or people in general in Ethiopia?
So I can't say everything that we're currently doing, but all I can say is there are a lot of works that are done in terms of cyber, in terms of cyber awareness, in terms of keeping the cyber security of different organizations, governments, private sectors, also generally the public as well. But what I can tell you is what we're doing as a cyber awareness security professionals. So from my point of view, in our team, we are actually working day and night almost every time to give trainings, because awareness seems to be the major issue when it comes to cybersecurity. Because as we talk about cybersecurity, majority of the attacks happen because of lack of awareness, or because of, let's say, social engineering. So what this social engineering is simply hacking the human mind. You don't need the ability to hack into a system. Maybe like you're not that technologically inept, but since you are able to deceive or manipulate a certain individual or psychology of a certain individual, then you are able to get into their account. So this is what we call social engineering. So most of the attacks that we see nowadays happen, almost 90% start from a phishing attack or a social engineering attack. So majority of the problem seems to be on the awareness side of things. So we're working most rigorously on training people, on giving awareness, and also finding out different medias. For example, you can see online we have television and radio programs like Cyberina, and these are meant for the public. And also we do consecutive trainings for government institutes, private institutes, and such and such. So although the team is very small, we try our best we can to reach as many demographics as we can.
Ethiopia has planned to digitalize all its documents until 2025. The government of Ethiopia has a great responsibility in terms of cultivating professionals that are very important, especially working in IT sector. What can you say about the digitalization and the cybersecurity activity being underway in our country, Ethiopia?
When it comes to digitalization, like I said, it's very dynamic, it's very fast-paced, right? So we're embracing technology at a very fast rate. And with it comes different cyber risks with it as well. But most people fail to realize that cybersecurity is not only an organizational matter, it's an individual matter on a specific case, right? So that's why we say to people, we teach to people that with implementing these technologies, they should also implement robust cybersecurity measures, right, to mitigate threats and different kinds of risks that may be involved with them adapting such technologies. It's a great thing. Digitalization is an amazing thing when it comes to pushing the country forward to another paradigm or pushing the country forward towards more success, right? But also with such technology, with such integration, it comes with it very huge risks, cybersecurity risks to be specific, because like I said, people may not be skilled enough to know how to protect themselves in this paradigm, in the cyber paradigm. They may not know much about, let's say, how to trust people on this cyber space, right? So on the physical space, I will trust you because maybe I know your face, I know your name, I know your location. But in the cyberspace, it's very hard to trust any account that approaches you, because you don't really know whether that entity is actually what it's saying it is. I'm Matilda, so in my account, I could impersonate to be someone else. I could be, let's say, a male who's 49 years old, or who's, I can impersonate anyone in the cyberspace. So it becomes very hard to trust when you go to the cyberspace. But if we bring the mentality of what we have now, we see somebody and we trust them because they have a certain face, a certain character, a certain name, then it makes us prone to attacks, because I can impersonate anyone, because my picture could be found anywhere else. Somebody can impersonate me as well. So if I talk to you with this face, with this photo on an account, you would assume that it is me. So that is why, with increasing interconnectedness of different devices, increased interaction between different systems and different softwares, there is a very huge opportunity for cyber criminals to exploit these vulnerabilities and to attack. So more so than ever, that's why we say, as an organization or as an individual, people need to implement cybersecurity as a culture in their everyday lives. Most organizations are changing to a service basis. So when that happens, cyber criminals get to take their identity or find different loopholes to get into different systems. So those are the big security threats that we see coming. The awareness is because not as advanced, and we're rapidly getting into this digitalization era. So with this comes a lot of services, a lot of systems that we're not adapted to. And so with this comes different opportunities for different cyber criminals to find vulnerabilities or loopholes in systems they can extort or they can exploit.
What you're telling for me right now, or what we are discussing about now, is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity needs a kind of awareness for our people. Therefore, what are factors causing for cybersecurity exposure for our people?
One is vulnerabilities that we find in different softwares, right? So those are one of the threats, cybersecurity exposure threats that we find. So that's very basic. So, for example, it could be hardware or software vulnerabilities. We could talk about CCTV cameras that have system settings, but may have a function or a weakness in the system by itself. We might talk about different systems that are presented to us as a service that might have, that were not built with security in mind, because we always say, you have something called secure by design. So what secure by design means is that whenever you build something from the ground up or even up with it, you always have to consider the security part of it from the get-go. But you can see that most developers here in our country or even internationally, they don't consider security as a necessity, or it's not included from the beginning, or you find them considering it after the software is done and completed. So that becomes one of the major cybersecurity exposure or threats that we find. Another one, and majorly, is the human error. So when we talk about cybersecurity, we're talking about 3 pillars. So one thing is technology by itself, like I said, software and hardware. The second one is processes, different processes that we use each and every day. It could be different protocols, policies, standards that are out there ISO standards, right, that make sure that whatever we do is according to the security metrics in place. The third one, and the weakest link in the system, as we call it, is the human, right? So the human error, like I said, accounts for majority of the attacks starting. Another one is the threat landscape. For every organization, there's something called a threat landscape.
The issue we are discussing about is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is an important issue for our country, especially for the security of the nation. Therefore, what is the impact of cybersecurity for our nation?
So the first things I said was there's economic loss. That's the very major thing that we see. Economic loss for businesses, for governments, and for individuals. But also we see damage to different critical infrastructures, right? So the cyber impact could go not just beyond just businesses, beyond just individuals. You can see it going through different critical infrastructures, and to the point that it risks public safety as well. So this is one thing that we see. Another thing that we see is compromised national security, right? So cyber attackers could attack on a national scale. So we have a lot of cyber attackers. It could be insider attacks, it could be activists, it could be terrorists, it could be other governments, it could be different people or organizations with different interests. So when they attack, they may not only damage the system or cause denial of service, but they could also risk public safety with the amount of damage they do to different infrastructures. So that's also the impact that we see. We see that the public safety could be compromised with just a simple cyber attack. Another one is different reputational damages, right? So let's say as a business, for example, let's take a banking sector. So they provide different services, and there's a lot of competition when it comes to the banking sector. We have more than, I think currently we have more than 20 banking institutions by itself. So if one of the banking institutions is attacked, then there's a very big major reputational damage done to the company. So its users will not trust it anymore, because as a banking center, the first thing you're selling is trust. So if your users cannot trust you with their money, they're not going to save their money in your accounts. They're going to go to another banking institution, because you have different rivals. So you find banks, in a very big reputational damage. So this causes them to lose integrity as a company and to lose customers overall. The other one is different legal and also regulatory repercussions we can see. So this can happen on a national scale or on an international scale as a whole.
Yeah.
So for example, if there is a cyber breach in the country, that could compromise the international interest of the company or the country itself, it could bring about different legal, repercussions. And also, let's say if a hacker attacks into a major government institution and it leaks certain information that were not supposed to be leaked, then that causes it to have different legal repercussions as well, because the organization or that entity will be sued for not protecting the rights and the confidential information of its clients, right? So with this case, let me also pick up the whole banking institution, because most people are familiar with this. For example, banking institutions have our personal information, including our bank details and such and such. So let's say these bank details and this information is out, right? Or the hacker has leaked this account. What happens is the customers or these people could sue the company for disclosing confidential information. So we're looking towards a more legal and legal suits happening on a national scale because of a cyber attack. So the impact goes beyond just what people think. It goes beyond just an individual. It goes beyond an organization. It goes beyond on a national scale. It can go on a global scale as well. So that's why it's very critical, because we say there are 5 paradigms in the world that we're living in, right? So one is the land, there is also water, there is air, there is space, and the 5th paradigm, and the most dynamic one so far and the most accessible one, is the cyber paradigm. So the cyber paradigm is very easy, because in terms of war, all you need is a PC. In terms of causing damage, there's very little resources you can use to create major damages, like in millions and billions of damages. So, for example, as a country, if you fight with another country, like in terms of war, then you're putting in a lot of resources, like you're training soldiers, you're bringing in machines, guns, and stuff like this, right? But when it comes to cyber, all you need is a laptop or one device or maybe a server, right? And because the cost is very low. And using that laptop, you can cause damages worth millions, worth billions, without having to lose lives, or without having to lose different resources. You're causing this much damage. So that's why the impact on cybersecurity becomes very wide.
If a cybersecurity attack has this much problem on the country, therefore, what kind of activities are being done toward this kind of cyber attack on the national security of our country, Ethiopia?
There's a lot of work that is being done in terms of, like I said, infrastructure, in terms of security, in terms of awareness. So what I can say from my side is I'm going to talk about the awareness. So in cyber awareness, I'm going to say in general, I'm going to talk about in general what is being done, right? So first is that's giving training, right? There's a lot of work that is being done in terms of protecting infrastructures, protecting different institutions, especially government institutions, but also there's also a lot of work being done in terms of awareness, right? So that's where I come from. So and also there's a lot of policies and regulations being made that help in the cybersecurity in this country. The first thing is like there's a lot of work being done or invested in terms of regulations and standards, right? We need cyber policies as much as we need any types of policies in this country because, like I said, there's Digital 2025, there's a lot of people getting into digitalization. So more so than ever, we need regulations and policies in place. So there's a lot of work being done in terms of creating policies and standards. The other one is in terms of establishing different task forces, right? So, for example, we are working alongside different banks so that they will have their own task force, their own cybersecurity teams. So we're actually encouraging different organizations to have their own cybersecurity squad or teams because that is very relevant in terms of cybersecurity. And because when you give response to different cyber attacks, most people give a reactive response, which means, oh, it happened, so let me do something about it. But as a cybersecurity professional or in a cybersecurity perspective, what we want is more of a proactive approach. So what I mean by this is you already know your threat landscape, you already know who's going to attack you, so you have metrics in place to protect yourself and your assets, your organizational assets from different attacks. So that's what I mean by proactive. So, and even as an awareness team, we're going out to different organizations, to different public institutions to give such trainings for different levels, executives, managers, professionals, and such. But also there's a lot of work done in terms of keeping the security of this country. It's not the responsibility of just one entity. So everyone who uses such devices or who uses technology is responsible to keep the cybersecurity of their own and also people around.
What is Ethiopia's aspiration on cybersecurity so far?
What I can say is that, like Ethiopia, like many other countries, we recognize the importance of cybersecurity, right? In terms of safeguarding the digital infrastructure or in terms of national securities, because that's also one of the major things that we care about, right? So as a country, we have different initiatives that we have aimed at enhancing cybersecurity, like I said earlier, in terms of standards and policies, in terms of infrastructures, in terms of cyber awareness and cyber culture building, in terms of cooperation with other institutes, in terms of public-private partnerships. So we have a lot of things underway, and we very specific aspirations in terms of fostering a very secure digital environment for the country. That could be in terms of different service industries or also private institutions. So as even in a global level, I hope, this is my personal opinion, right? So I really hope that as a country that we be one of the top cybersecurity, uh, you know, countries in Africa at least. But we have a lot of work that is needed to be done. So as a professional myself, that's what I can tell you. So there are a lot of talented people. There is a very huge talent pool in our country, right? But there's a lot to be done as well. There's a lot of potential when it comes to cyber talented people, but there's still a lot of work needs to be done for us to be on the global scale, right? On the national scale as well. So to protect on a national scale as well, because most of uh, most of all we need cyber talented people because the workforce is very small. Because nowadays we have a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of digitalization, right? So a lot of people are embracing technology. But with this embrace of technology, we need cybersecurity professionals to protect these things, to protect systems, to help teach other people on how to keep themselves secure. But we seem to be having a lack of task force or a lack of these individuals. So that's why more so than ever, um, we need more professionals. We need more people to get into the cybersecurity area. So that's hopefully my aspiration as a whole. As we go forward, we want more people to join cybersecurity sectors, more technological sectors, so we'll be able to protect our country, the cybersecurity of our country overall.
Anything left you want to say about our discussion?
Okay, thank you, Buhan, for inviting me on this topic. So like I said, as a person, as a professional, I hope that more people join the cybersecurity community. It's a very exciting and interesting community. So, with more people coming into cybersecurity, we'll be able to protect not only ourselves on a national level, but also be competitors on a global scale. So, there's a lot of talent pool, a lot of talented individuals, but there's still a lack of task force when it comes to cybersecurity. So I urge anyone who's interested in technology and cyber to join the cybersecurity community, to engage more in cybersecurity, of course, in an ethical form, not as a hacker or in any other sense, but as an ethical hacker or as a professional to join the industry. So this is my last remark.
Hello, viewers. You have been watching English Service Amhara Media Corporation Messenger program. Today, we have discussed on cybersecurity, cyber attack, and its impact on the social, political, and economic affairs of the nation. For this, Mathilda Giovanni has given a brief explanation for us. Do stay with the rest of Amhara Media Corporation programs.